When I was younger, I once decided that it would be a good idea to produce my own Transformers comic series. Now, I've always been an aspiring writer, but art is certainly not an area I am strong in, as you're about to see. I recently found these 6 comics again after not being able to find them for years, and I thought I should share them with you guys, because they're really bad. I made one about once every month, but it quickly turned to 2 months due to the production time of each. I know they're only 4 pages each, including the cover. They did take a ridiculously long time to produce, hence why I stopped at 6. The story follows my own OCs heading to Earth and fighting against Decepticons that are familiar, such as Megatron and Soundwave. The comic was called New Generation Transformers, which is just the worst name. These 6 issues follow the story of Epsilon Prime and his crew of terribly drawn Autobots as they find their way on Earth and battle against the Decepticons who are also there for some reason. The very first issue boasts great things. A poorly drawn box with... is the Autobot symbol? With Optimus Prime giving some reassuring thoughts about him. And a misspelling of the main character's name, Epsilon Prime. The story begins with your basic backstory. There is a planet far away from Earth named Cybertron, which is a cracked egg. Beings called Transforms live on it. They have had many adventures. All Autobots, report to Mission Center. That's Optimus Prime. That little tiny thing there, that's Optimus Prime. Autobots, I have called you here for a reason. Earth is in danger. Look at this video. I'm not sure what's funnier. That's supposed to be Megatron. I'm serious. All the Optimus Prime's eyes in that image. The Decepticons are on Earth. Me and my fellow Autobots have to protect Cybertron. The newbies will go to Earth. Yes, that's a legitimate reason for this story to happen. What? Optimus doesn't want to go to Earth to fight Megatron? No. Send the new guys in there. Good work. Man, I'm good at storytelling. Now, meet our cast of characters, whom I actually drew a page of to keep track of as I drew them in the comic. The Autobot page has a terrible drawing of Optimus Prime. I'm not sure what this thing is doing there. I don't know why that's on this page, but it is. The plan was to design as many Autobots as there were Decepticons, and I did pretty much that, with the exception of the Decepticons having both Megatron and Soundwave on their side. The Autobots have Seekers, Quartz, Shocker, Skyrocket, Jetstream, and the supposed comedic relief character Numbskull, who is just as terrible as his name is. Then we have Reflector, and Detector, which is... Espelon is looking interesting in this picture. He looks a lot different to how he does in the actual comic, and it's interesting to note I initially was going to call him Delta Prime. The catch here, I named him Espelon because he was the 4th Prime. Which he is not, but don't tell young me that. Also, please do tell young me how to spell Epsilon. The Autobots also had TikTok, I don't understand why he has a clock on him, but I guess that was the joke. Firearm turned into a fire truck, and that was it. And move out of the way, good Blades, because there's a new sheriff in town. See, my Blades actually has blades. And Blades was supposed to be the edgy, badass character who I remember having a lot of fun drawing, which is interesting, considering a later turn of events. I also designed 2 combiners for the Autobots, Speed Demon and Skyride, which is... he actually looks depressed. And of course, to meet that, I designed as many Decepticons. Of course, Megatron and Soundwave are looking absolutely terrible. He is Exterminator, Flame Charge, Skull Smasher, Silent Strike, Smasher, Dive Blade, Basher, Striker, Destructible, that face, Jet Strike, and the 2 combiners, Night Shadow and Robot Wrecker. These names are so bad, it hurts. I used these pages to keep track of the characters in the comic so I knew who to draw. However, a majority of the Decepticon designs never ended up being used, which is a shame because some of them I clearly put a lot of time and effort into. Back to the story. Come here, Optimus demands. Sir, yes sir! I don't know why I decided to give 4 tails on that text box, but it has if you need it. You will go to Earth, Espelon. You'll be the leader. Don't disappoint me. And good luck. We're counting on you. And don't harm the humans. And then there's a clapping sound effect and the freaking worst spaceship design I've ever seen in my entire life. 3, 2, 1, and it appears one of my OCs didn't quite make it on there. Later, and yeah, he's still on there. You know, he's very poorly proportioned to the size of the ship and the friggin' stars. Why does Cybertron have 2 moons? 2 planets have pulled in, replacing the ones Unicron ate. Don't you know? And then I leave an asterisk to Transformers the movie, issue 2 to 3. No, that's not a correct. Congratulations, Espelon! Or should I say, Epsilon Prime. Yes, I forgot to mention TikTok is definitely gay for Epsilon. I don't know why I wrote that in there. Okay, what would Optimus Prime do? I know! He would do a roll call! Everyone, report your names in case someone's missing. The punctuation, this is amazing. And then we have our info dump of character names. I don't understand half of what's written here, though I do recall I actually ran out of things for the characters to say. Like, Quartz here, and then Shocker here, sorry, Quartz in brackets, because I actually ran out of things for them to say. Epsilon is supposed to be his name. He's very excited to be the leader, apparently, even though he's the worst drawn thing. So they arrive on Earth. Man, this is such a great comic. I like the coloring on this page, I don't know why. Anyway, so they begin exploring. Is this a human? It's dead. I hope not. Dunno. I'm not sure how that fire works, but alrighty then. Look, over here. What is it? Looks dangerous. Let's check it out. I like the building in this panel with just the freaking, like, clock at the top of it. Oh my god. Where are we? It's nothing like Cybertron. Oops, and that's how trees work. What the? The locals will be pleased. Oh, I've got the little tear duct, the anime tear duct. We need a disguise or everything will be destroyed. Scan something. Here comes my obligatory human character. What was that noise? I'll explore. And then there's an asterisk saying he's not Santa because of the terrible hat I drew. God, I'm so bad at drawing. Oh my god. That's a pretty accurate face. I'm not sure what else you usually have if you saw Transformers, honestly. The first issue comes to a close, teasing great things. Alright, as of now, I'll spare you my reading of the actual comic. I'll just summarize what actually happens in it. You're welcome. So, issue 2 begins with the conclusion of last issue. Do not be afraid, I mean no harm. Ah, good to see the art is just as good. Basically, our human character reacts very strangely and very okay with the situation, and casually asks questions about them. The human introduces himself as Jack. I'm not saying I predicted Transformers Prime, but I totally did. Then they have, you know, a really good conversation. Can you please put down your weapon? Asks Epsilon to the friggin' torch. Oh my god. Then basically they go and scan alternate modes for like 150 pages. Once again, Jack is responding to the situation incredibly calmly, which is very concerning. My favorite out of these car scanning is when he takes Blades to a friggin' car museum. A car museum. Then they break into a military base to get the aerial bots their own alt modes. Can I please mention, drawing jets is a very difficult thing, as you can see. Epsilon turns down turning into a jet because, you know, he's a prime. Primes can't be jets. And Jack responds very poorly to that in one of the worst drawn images I've ever seen. Oh, this is real. I made this. He turns down a number of different army vehicles before they realize that they're running out of time, and they are spotted very quickly by an army guy patrolling the base at 6 o'clock in the morning. I also finally introduced an extra zone that was supposed to serve as like a character profiles. Here I've got the infamous Epsilon Prime. He's not even holding the gun. I didn't know I made him turn into I don't want to call that a car, that's not a car. I cannot read half of what I've written here. I also wanted feedback, even though I didn't show anyone this comic when I made it, so that's interesting. Moving on to the next issue, which has a very violent cover. The bots begin to hide and destroy more stuff. Epsilon gets violently attacked by the humans as seen in the cover. Somehow the humans know about Decepticons? I wonder if that becomes important later. The army proceeds to destroy an entire city. Epsilon gets angry and begins attacking the humans with their own missiles and not kill them, somehow. Then he runs away, but then, all of a sudden, after they escape, guess who's waiting there in the shadows? I don't know who that's supposed to be. If it weren't for the horribly drawn shoulder gun, I wouldn't recognize that as Soundwave. You better believe Soundwave's in this story. Extra Zone sees Quartz, the most awfully designed character. God. They then confer at their base. They begin talking about what they should do. It's, you know, your casual stuff. They finally talk to Optimus, and they begin unraveling the subplot I introduced where they talk about how the humans recognize them as Decepticons and Autobots. And I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I was going somewhere with that, like Epsilon and all that didn't know that Optimus and all that had gone to Earth before them. It still didn't explain why Megatron was back though. Then all of a sudden explosion appears, and just like that, out of nowhere, Soundwave begins attacking the base. Epsilon attempts to fight him, but it's Soundwave. I appreciate my efforts here to make a cool battle scene, but it really comes out as awful, especially considering how I've drawn Soundwave. Oh, that's just insulting. My biggest concern with this scene is TikTok throwing them guns, and then Numbskull shooting himself in the face. So then they defeat Soundwave and throw him off a cliff. After that, Epsilon for some reason decides it would be a good idea to go back outside to look for an alternate mode, and is then promptly attacked by the army again. And as such, they destroy another entire city. This panel has Epsilon turning into Sonic the Hedgehog or something. And then Soundwave shows up again, proving that this is the worst drawing ever. I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. I am so sorry to Soundwave and everyone out there who is a good artist that this is a thing I made. The next issue basically is comprised of a fight between Epsilon and Soundwave, which is actually kind of violent, all things considered. Epsilon tries to reason with everyone, but he does that thing where he gets angry. Even though Soundwave begins beating the crap out of him, Soundwave is eventually defeated by the classic, look behind you, and it actually works, and I'm sorry. This dialogue here is great. Oh, my eye. You don't have eyes. I will kill you! Soundwave is clobbered by the others, who for some reason decided not to show up until now. Then they go back to the base, even though Epsilon still hasn't scanned something, and then they call Optimus, and it's the big plot twist. How did the humans know about Decepticons? Dun dun dun! And how is that amazing cliffhanger resolved? I can't say I know. I hate this so much. Numbskull's alive for some reason, even though he blows himself up with a bomb. The others head somewhere, still in search of a form, when they are attacked by the Decepticons. Meanwhile, the three Seekers go to an army base in order to work out why on earth they know about the Decepticons. Megatron shows up with a bunch of Decepticons, and then basically rinse and repeat before. Get attacked by the army, get attacked by the Decepticons, only things get a bit more violent. Blades attempts to hold off the Decepticons by himself, and manages to succeed for a short while. Maybe things are gonna be okay. Oh my god, no, he's dead. The horrible irony is that the extra zone contains Blades, and that concludes the 6 issues that I never ended up finishing anymore, except for one. I did end up creating about half of a 7th issue, and though all of the story and drawings are done, a lot of it is incomplete. The cover promises a showdown, though it's less that and more of a massacre. TikTok is the only reasonable person in this entire situation, though the entire issue is basically just comprises the Autobots getting their asses kicked. I don't understand what's going on in this panel after Shocker clearly just, I don't know what's going on. It's just terrible. So more Autobots show up. Skyrocket gets annihilated. He's hella dead. I love Megatron's nonchalant die. Epsilon gets half his face blown off. Shocker gets very dead. Jesus, this is so violent, my god. And then Decepticon reinforcements show up. And that is the end of the comic. I never produced any more, and I guess we'll never get to find out what young me had in mind for the rest of the Autobots. I assume they were all going to get slaughtered, because considering 3 people just died within the space of 2 issues, it's really not looking good for the Autobots. I guess we'll never know. Hey, you made it to the end of this video. Hopefully it wasn't too strange, considering how bad I am at drawing. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at some old Transformers comics I made with me. And now, for someone who can actually draw, I'd like to give a brief shout out to Cheshire3, who made this amazing drawing for me on Twitter. Thank you so much for that. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.